Good evening, everybody, and welcome to F1 tonight. We will be underway shortly, should be hopefully in the next 10 minutes. So stay on this channel, and Q1 will be starting very soon. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas, US of A. And we are here for the season race of, well, I think it's actually race 18, if I remember correctly. And well, joining myself in the commentary box, we have Adrian. Good evening, Adrian. Well, my goodness me. Well, I don't expect any help on the driver names, how they're doing in the championship or anything. It's all down to you now. You are a seasoned professional. Oh, that's okay. Anytime. So, here we are indeed at Austin, Texas. Quite an interesting track. It's purpose-built, really, for F1. 3 sectors. So, Sector 1 takes us on the start-finish round to just before turn 7. And then we have Sector 2 from turn 7 to between turn, well, just after turn 12 before you get to turn 13. And then Sector 3, which is turn 13 down to the start finish. It's a bit of mix of everything here, isn't it? It's not a bad track, but it is a real mix of rhythm and sort of type in each sector, really, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, predominantly, obviously, as you quite rightly say, obviously the first sector, very unique to this one, I think, is the first turn. So up from the start-finish, climbing, which the drivers have nicknamed the wall, and then going into that hard left for turn 1. Certainly, once you get into the alternating corner sections between turn 3 right up to turn 9, really, very reminiscent of Japan. Certainly with that sort of left and right and that flow of the track. Then you've got that right hand turn 11, which takes you on the long straight. That to me is somewhat Abu Dhabi-ish, actually, if you know what I mean. Yeah, and that was undoubtedly where we're going to see some overtaking. Predominantly also into turn 12, that left-hander just before they get into sector 3. So I would expect to be seeing overtaking certainly in turn 12. We could well see overtaking in the first sector between turns 3 to 8 in that sort of twist left-right sort of motion, because if cars go off track. And then sector 3, it's not an easy one to overtake on. I mean, you do sometimes see people on the exit or as they're coming round turn 16, 17, Hayden Hill, 16, 17, 18, if they can get on the dirty side. But you might see turns in turn 19, which is the penultimate turn before they get to T20, and certainly expect overtakes on that turn 1 once they start coming up the hill, I think. Oh, in that case, it is rather aptly named the wall then, isn't it? Turn 11 when you're going up towards 12. Oh, sorry, I thought you a different track. Yeah, yeah, obviously turn one. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because you do go uphill, but it's not as steep. It's probably about half of that, I would have thought. It's probably around about sort of 15, maybe 20 metres. Yeah, I would suspect it probably is. So, we should actually have had Rob Mulder come out and disqualify himself, which he did. But we've also seen Nicky Visser disqualified, so I'm not too sure what's happened there. Guido Erschein has set a provisional time now of a 1:33.7, so he's first man out on track to set a time. Let's see if we can see Ruud Window. He's coming now into sector 2. Martin Parder Cooper. He's through that sector 1. Mark Strappers, Damie Hartman coming around turn 11 now. Basta Breen's just coming out of the pit. No, I think he has. Marcel Dronig out on track. Whereabouts is he? So he's coming round. Looks like turn 15. So he should be coming round. Start finish straight. Marco Pullen, Boy Williamson, Marcel France. So let's go with Marcel Dronig. I think he may have just got a toe off his teammate between 11 and 12, which is interesting. They're all on the ultra softs. Oh, Damie Hartman sets a 1:33.2. So that's interesting. Just for a little bit of comparison, Q1 times in the 2018 Real World USA Grand Prix. Well, first was Lewis Hamilton with a 1:34.1. Just trying to see where that 1:32. Well, that just beats everything. I'm just trying to see anyone that actually comes close there. 1:34. So Marcel Dronig actually equaling, almost equaling the pole sitter in the Real World 2018. But we've actually going a lot quicker on this Q. But I would suspect it's more to do with tyre choice. I would suspect that the tyres they probably went out in Q1 would have been their soft tyres. 3 tyre choices here this weekend. Soft, which is the yellow wool tyre, super soft, the red wool tyre, and then we have ultra soft, which is the what is it, sort of pink, well not pink, but sort of like a purple, yeah, mauve, purpley sort of colour. I think the hyper soft is more pink really, isn't it? Oh dear, what a shame. Well, it's just, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens in 2019, how that actually pans out. And we've got some more times down now. Ruud Window for Williams is set at 1:32.2. Boy Williamson 1:33.1. Damie Hartman 1:33.2. Looks like the Haas team have been putting a bit of practice, and I think they're quite determined. It's an interesting fact that if Mercedes actually managed to pull out 4 points lead on Haas for this race, they will actually win the Constructors' Championship. So Haas do have certainly something to fight for here. Now, sorry, Ferrari, not Haas. Sorry, Ferrari. I do apologise. You're absolutely right. So Ferrari will win the Constructors' Championship if Haas, if they beat Haas by 4 points or more. So that could be an interesting one. Guido Erschein, Marcel Dronig, not too far apart there, the two Renaults, only 3/10 separating at the moment, divisional 4th and 5th. Remember, in this Q1, we did have 16 drivers. We will go down to 15. Obviously, little point in those guys now because Rob Mulder is out. He's had to disqualify himself because he's got a penalty, so he'll be starting at the back of the grid. But Nicky Visser's disqualified as well. So there are actually 14 drivers remaining. So I don't know whether they'll go through to the end of the session and treat it a bit as a practice. The only issue you've got to be careful is when you're going around not to crash the car. Because if you do, then you're going to miss out on Q2, and that's it, basically. Well, yeah, I mean, it is completely different, I've got to say. I mean, obviously, a lot of people look at time trial as a benchmark, but the more I play the game, the more I realise it isn't really, because time trial is absolutely ideal conditions with everything, track, weather, temperature going for you, and then it's a question of how you set up the car. So you should get your fast times on there really, but it has absolutely, well, I can safely say zero relevance when you come to actually do a multiplayer race, doesn't it? Yeah, no, it is completely different. So we're starting to see some times go down now. Obviously quite a bit of variation, but most of the field's certainly within the 133s, 134s, and they're really ranging between 132 there, 132.0 set by Seb Bogart. I only just quickly saw that. My goodness, that is that's certainly putting it down 2/10 faster than Ruud Window. So the only two drivers in the 132s at this moment in time is Seb Bogart, Ruud Window. Then we got 133s, and that's Basta Breen, Boy Williamson, Damien Hartman, Guido Ershine, Marco Pullen. And then we have the 134s, Marcel Dronig, Martin Parder Cooper, Mark Stappers, Miguel Tawney, Marcel France, Kevin Van Delft, John Donkel, Rob Mulder. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. Correction, I've got so used to saying Mulder. I have actually been advised it's Mulder Inc. So, yeah, I'll have to work with that one. No, actually, if you think about it, it's Mulder Inc. As incorporated, absolutely. So it's Mulder Inc. He's gone private. He's left the FBI, and he's actually gone private now. Suddenly dawned on me, that one. So Mark Stapper's now coming down towards turn 12, and that's probably, say, the longest, well, not straight, but straight-ish. It's the longest one. Obviously, you've got the straight out of 20 up to turn 1, but we know we've got that 35-metre climb as you go from the start-finish line. But yeah, it's probably the longest bit of track there, really, between 11 and 12. So it's going to be interesting to see how the ERS and the DRS obviously work, because it is a DRS zone, the first DRS zone effectively. So we are watching the drivers coming round now. We've got just under 6 minutes remaining, and the Ferraris are up there. Seb obviously setting the time. Ruud Window, unsurprisingly, as we know, is in the mix, and he's certainly been coming to the fore recently. Bass still staying in there. Seb obviously has been out for a couple of races, so it's important that he sets his mark early, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We do have 16 drivers with us this evening. Stan Drumkov and Sander Hermans from Mercedes, they're not racing. Peter Phillips from Red Bull, he's not racing. And Jerome Portmer for Toro Rosso is not racing. So 16 drivers, and most of them have gone back into the pits. A few haven't really bothered to come out, and I don't know whether they're even going to bother. Kevin Van Delft, John Donkel. There's not really much point in them coming out, is there? You just like to live life dangerously, don't you, Adrian? Just remember the 8 Ps. Yeah, unfortunately, no, you can't. Well, I suppose you could. You could say You could do it. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to get it right, because if I get it wrong, obviously it's going to be interesting. So, prior planning and preparation prevents poor performance. It's like the pheasant plucker one, isn't it? I'm not the pheasant plucker. I'm not the pheasant plucker's son. I'm only plucking pheasant because the pheasant plucker's gone. Oh, I really hope that our Dutch contingent of fans watching this evening can understand that. If you do, please do feel free to send me any Dutch tongue twisters, and I will gladly do them next week. And the thing is, the tongue twister has to have the catch that if you get it wrong, well, you don't want to get it wrong unless you're on an over 18 channel, basically. So I'm not going to get it wrong, so that's fine. Don't worry about it. So looking at this lovely pit here, and might as well go with Kevin Van Delft. He is actually going around the track at this moment in time. Now, it's going to be interesting to see. Yep. One 134.1 was Q1 time for Hamilton. That's a very, very fair comment to make, actually, there, Adrian, which is very true indeed, because obviously there are a number of variants. Now, that then sort of impacts, obviously, if you're doing, if you're in the game and you're doing the season as a driver, effectively against the AIs, those sort of things do come into play, don't they, in the single player? Yeah, it's not as complex, so I can understand what you're saying. It's not as complex. But it'd be an interesting one if they actually brought that into the online multiplayer series, because obviously the game does give you the option to set up a multiplayer championship, and it'd be quite interesting if those sort of things could come into play. Not that I want to, I mean, I was going to say, I would like Codemasters to get the basics right first, though. That would be rather awesome, I've got to say, if they could actually achieve that. Well, I suppose it is achievable. You can do it in one player. I don't see any reason why not. I mean, the data would effectively be saved the same way. But yeah, definitely get the basics right. Let's get some of these glitches sorted out, which seem to be in every year, which are a little bit frustrating. So that's the session over. And drivers through to Q2 now. Remember that Rob Mulderink did come out and disqualify himself because he had a penalty to serve. But Nicky Visser also disqualified himself. So going to be interesting to see how that works out. I just want to see here. Yeah, and indeed, Rob Mulder will be in row 8, but he'll be in P15, and Nicky Visser in the Sauber will be alongside him. So I'm not too sure what exactly happened there. Undoubtedly, in due course, we'll find out. So 14 drivers through to the Q2 session, and the Q2 is the critical one. And this is where we will get a much better idea of what the drivers are and what their preferred strategies may be as well. Yeah, I mean, and that is the thing, you know, you are showing your hand to one degree. I would always say, when in doubt in Q2, always go on your harder tyre. And if you need to come out, you can always come out again on a softer tyre to better that time to make sure you get through to Q3. And all the drivers are, wow, there's a number of drivers out already. Yeah, and it is Ruud Window, the Williams driver, who's first out on track. He's followed by, looks like a Force India, and then both Ferraris. Now, both Ferraris, to me, that smacks as if somebody's going to give somebody a tow here. I don't know what you think, but I've got a sneaking suspicion. No, I tend to agree with that one. It definitely is not a coincidence. So they're obviously looking to do something here and hopefully try and secure that front row if they can. Obviously won't be dependent on this one, will be dependent on the next qualification round, Q3. So we will see how that pans out, and let's have a quick look here. There's Basta Breen and Seb Bogart. Yeah, indeed, Basta Breen is ahead of Seb Bogart. He's just coming into turn 12 now, and Seb Bogart just approaching now. So that they are definitely, yeah, I mean, they're sort of line astern. They're definitely looking to do something there. Now, quite a number of super softs, probably easy to mark out the ultra soft. So Miguel Torney, Kevin Van Delft, Ruud Window, Mark Stappers and Marcel Dronig. So only 4 drivers actually going out at this moment in time on the ultra softs. Everybody else is on the super softs. Yeah, that's right. We've been looking at double Miguel Torney, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so he's making a statement there already in this queue that he's going to be looking to be on that front row, and he's going to need to be as well, as you quite rightly say, if he's going to be on those ultra softs. So that's a little nod, I think, to Seb Bogart and Basta Breen there. So it'd be interesting to see what they actually do at this moment in time. They've split up a little bit more now, so Basta Breen is ahead of Seb Bogart at this moment in time. He's just coming around turn 15 now. Seb Bogart is just making well, let's see what time they actually set. Basta Breen sets a 1:33.3. Yeah, 1:33.3. Sorry, 1:32.9. So 1:32.9 from Seb Bogart, 1:34.4 from Martin Parder Cooper in the Red Bull, And Miguel Tordi, 134.6. Marcel France, 136. Martin Parder Cooper, as I said, 134.4. Guido Airshine, 134.0. So they're starting to come in thick and fast. My God, he has. Dronig, 134.047. So that's, what, 500ths of a second between them? It's very, very close indeed between the two Renaults there. So Kevin Van Delft, Ruud Window, Mark Stappers, John Donkel, Marco Pullen and Boy Williamson still to set a time. Drop time, looking at this, I would suspect we're going to be looking probably, I would say we're going to be looking low 134s. Low 134, high 133, I think is going to be that drop time. Not really. No, he's improved it by nearly 400ths, isn't he? But 4/10, sorry. But you know, as you rightly say, is it really worth it? You might need those tyres. You've already proved your point. Unless he's looking to get, you know, a feel, or there's some wrinkles that he wants to iron out on the track that he's not happy with. No great return on that investment, basically. So Kevin Van Delft, it's a 135.2, and Damien Hartman, he's up in P4 with a 133.4. His teammate is actually out on track now. Let's have a look at Boy Williamson. He's just coming around turn 9, coming down to the hairpin of turn 11. And has certainly shown some good form. They are at this moment in time second in the Constructors' Championship, so they're on 293 points. Third are Sauber on 192, Red Bull 178, Williams 157, Renault 145, Force India 128. So pretty close between all those teams at this moment in time. But Ferrari have got a phenomenal 418 points in the Constructors' Championship. He has, yeah. He's been out in the past couple of races, so yeah. They did indeed. Yeah, that's right. His pet cat had dropped on his lap, but that is true. But they're not doing too bad in the championship. I mean, Damien Hartman's currently third in the Drivers' Championship, and Boy Williamson is fifth. Nicky Visser still hanging in there for Sauber in fourth, but he hasn't had a great couple of races, has he? And certainly not a great one to start already, disqualifying in the first queue. Yeah, you did. Yeah, I could tell. Well, certainly Rob Muldering was looking to disqualify himself, but he didn't seem to, so I don't know what happened. Now, interesting, Boy Williamson, he's now moved up to fourth, 133.5. His teammate Damien Hartman, 133.7, so only 2/10 between them. They're currently opting for it. But Marco Pullen, nice result there from Marco Pullen with that 1:33.4. He's only just dropped down to fourth. He was actually in third because Boy Williamson has just put in the 1:33.3 and split the Ferraris, interestingly enough. So top five, 2 Ferraris, 2 Haas and a Sauber. That's interesting. They've all got Ferrari engines. Whoa, he's gone P1. I was trying to find him there. He's gone P1, 32.4. So sorry I missed that. I was trying to find him on the drivers list. He was right at the bottom. I was expecting him to be a bit further up. He's 1:32.4. So we've got 5 minutes remaining. Drop zone time at this moment in time is Mark Stappers with that 1:34.3. So that time is looking right. Is low 1:34 could well be the drop time in that instance. Yeah, I mean, that is a fair comment to make there, and we know that obviously Reid Windale was looking to make a statement when he went out on those Ultrasofts, but you're quite right. If he's going to go on those Ultrasofts, he needs to improve that gap to Seb Bogart. If Seb's on a 1:32.5, he should really be on a 1:31.8, shouldn't he? Well, stranger things have happened, and Reid Windale's into the pits. Let's have a look now. Quite a number of drivers in the pits. Mark Stappers still out. Quick shout out to Mark Stappers, the only driver in the F1 Tonight League who races with all assists turned off and in cockpit view. I do mention it every race, but I think it's just worth mentioning, to be honest. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. That sort of zen moment. It takes time. You need the right equipment for those of you that are watching, and I'm sure Adrian won't mind. He's had a few issues. He's got himself a lovely rig, but he's got a few issues with the wheel at the moment because it's just not locking into the what do you call it? The drive, I suppose, isn't it? It's just not sitting properly. So he has got a beautiful F1 steering wheel with all the knobs and buttons, etc., but it's just not working at this moment in time. But I'm sure you'll get that resolved, and I'm sure it will make a difference. I've got to say, I'm going a lighter shade of green. I need to get back into the cockpit and do some driving. I love the commentating, don't get me wrong, but I'm starting to miss the driving, so I need to see what shekels I can invest in equipment. No, you haven't. Yeah, let me get a bit of practice in first. Yeah, you're still faster than me, though. I'm normally, when I've been in practice, I've normally been round about 4 or 5 seconds off Seb's times, and probably 3 seconds, 2-3 seconds off Guido's time. So I would say that would probably put me. I've beaten some of the other guys on time trial, so I would probably be the guy sitting in sort of 18 or 18 to 20, I would guess. So not absolutely used to this, but not really switched on as yet. It depends. It depends. Certain tracks I have my moments, but not all. That's for sure. So we've got 30 seconds remaining now, and in the drop zone is Guido Airshine with that 134.0. Marcel France with a 134.5. Miguel Torni with a 134.5 as well, and Kevin Van Delft with 135.2. Guido Airshine, well, he needs to get a faster time. He is out on track at this moment in time. What does he need to aim for? He needs to get sub that 134, doesn't he? He really needs to get down to sort of 133.7 ideally, I think. Yeah. Well, let's have a look. He's on a good time here. He is on a good time. 133.4. Fantastic. So he does get himself into Q3, but unfortunately in the process puts out his teammate. Yeah, I did. Yeah. He was on the Super Softs, but went onto the Ultra Soft just to get that time in. Well, that's just the thing. I mean, was it worth it? Well, it's you know, flick of a coin, really, isn't it? You know, I've got through to Q3, but I'm going to have to start on Ultra Softs as opposed to not getting into Q3, starting P11 and having a choice of tyre. So it's, I don't know. I would personally, I would have gone for the choice of tyre, I've got to say. Well, he's certainly got an opportunity, but he's going to need to push himself undoubtedly in that Q3 session. So, as we know now, in the drop zone, and I think there's nobody else on track, so that is it. So, in the drop zone, Marcel Dronig will be in row 6, and here alongside him will be Marcel France in the Toro Rosso. Row 7 will be Miguel Torni in the Force India, and alongside him will be Kevin Van Delft in the McLaren. So just waiting for drivers to ready up. There we go, and we're now going to be going into Q3. So the final countdown. I need to get that. Yeah, I was thinking, well, hey, listen, don't knock it. I used to be in a choir, you know. I won't tell you how long ago I was in a choir, but I used to be in a choir. Thank you. Well, I really appreciate that, Adrian. So, okay, there we have it. Confirmation. Drop zone there, 4 drivers, Marcel Dronig and Marcel France, 11 and 12, Miguel Torni and Kevin Van Delft, 13 and 14 respectively. And we're now going to be going into this final Q3 shootout. Obviously, Ferrari's got an advantage here with those super softs, but Ruud Window, he's going to have to really set this course on fire, as is Guido Airshine, because they really want to, if they're not in that front row, they want to go be in, you know, row 2, aren't they? They're not really going to want to be too much further behind. Definitely. Yeah, it is. It should be certain. Well, we know Seb Bogart set that 132. Was it 5? 132.4. I think think it was. So 32.5. So he's going to have, you know, if he goes on to the ultras, which he is, we should be looking, you know, high 131s. So Ruud Winder's going to have to do even better than that, and he's already pushed himself on those ultras. We're riding on board with Guido Airshine, first man out on track. He's enthusiastic. He had a good race last week, didn't pan out from a strategy point of view, and there was certainly a bit of a strategy call that he made when he came in and pitted and went on to another set of tyres. We were sort of sitting there scratching our heads thinking, why did he just do that? But he did say it afterwards that his tyres were just shot, weren't they? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, if I remember rightly. Yeah, absolutely. Doing a great job. But he's certainly coming through now towards the close of this season. It seems he hasn't, you know, had a good start. Hasn't had a great sort of mid-season, but now it seems to be coming together a little bit better for him, and he seems to be, you know, raking up the points more consistently. Yeah, they're a good bunch, the F1 guys. I don't know if it's because they're Dutch, I have no idea. You tend to find the Dutch are quite a friendly bunch of people, unless they're obviously negotiating Brexit, then they're an absolute bunch of... Well, as I was saying, here we are now in Austin, Texas. It was, wasn't it? So, Guido Airshine is now getting ready to set his opening lap time. It's going to have to be good. The question is, how good is it going to be? He's in the final sector now, and coming round Hayden Hill, which is 16, 17, 18. This is going to be interesting. What is it going to be? So 131, 132, 132.4 from Guido Airshine. Don't think that's going to be enough. I really don't. It is a good time. Basta Breen set to 131.5. 131.5. 133.9 from Mod. 131.5. That is flying. It's well, I don't know, and again, I mean, we know obviously we can't compare absolutely like for like, but the fastest Q3 time was a 132.2, would you believe? And that was set by Lewis Hamilton. 132.2, so that is a full, well, let's err on the side of caution, 6 tenths. Look at that, Basta Breen, 131.5, but Seb Bogart, 131.6 as well. Look at this, they're both in the mid 131s there. He has 131.7, so yep, he's under a tenth behind Bogart, and obviously a couple of tenths behind Basta Breen. But this is very, very interesting now. Yeah. Hold on, let's watch this one. Watch Damie Hartman here. Oh, and he just fluffed it. He was doing so well as he was coming around turn 20, but I don't think he got the pickup that he needed. And I thought he was going to do another 131 there, but came across with a 132.8. Damie Hartman, 133.0. So only John Donkel and Marco Pullen still set at time. We've got just under 6 minutes remaining of this final Q3 session. At this moment in time, we have a 1-2 for Ferrari in the first row lockout. Ruud Windauer to Williams in the second row alongside Guido Airshine. Certainly where those guys want to be. They don't want to be any sort of lower than that, do they? Because they will be... Yeah, they will be on the ultra softs at the moment. Row 3 is being occupied by Haas. So both the Haas drivers in row 3. Mark Stappers, he's in row 4, alongside Martin Paardekoper in the Red Bull, and John Donkel, row 5, alongside Marco Pullen at this moment, although they have not, as I said, set a time as yet. John Donkel is still in the pits. Marco Pullen is out on track. He's done a couple of laps, but he hasn't been able to set a time. He's just gone off the edges of the track. Oh dear, big spin from him there as he was coming round turn 15. So we'll stay on board with the Sauber and see what he can do. He's coming into the pits, didn't think that was looking too great, yeah. So I think he's going to come off those ultras and go on a fresh set, because they just don't seem to be reacting too well at this moment. So Mark Stappers into the pit as well. Damie Hartman is still out on track. Seb Bogart is on his out lap. Boy Williamson, he's on an out lap. This is quite tense now. We've got 4 minutes remaining, and the question is really, can anyone split those Ferraris, isn't it? But I suppose Ruud Windauer's in with a good shout. I think he's probably the only one that is. I can't see Guido Airshine splitting them. No, that is true. That is true. Yeah, I mean, we are looking effectively at what, 7-8 tenths nearly. So between the two at this moment in time, and that may not seem a lot, but that is a world, an age in the world of F1. It really is amazing the times that you work to. I mean, if you think about it, if you were doing a little bit of street racing, you'd be quite be within sort of a second or a second and a half of the guy that's in pole, really, wouldn't you? He's coming down 12 now, so he'll be crossing the sector line now. So purple, sector 2. Sorry, yeah, sector 2, sector 1. Sorry, and is that sector 1? No, that's sector 2. Yeah, he's on sector 3 now. So he's a tenth up at the moment, so that would put us on a 131.4 or low 131.5. Let's have a look. 131. Oh, 131.7. He just fluffs it on those second corners. That last corner, he just didn't get the line right, did he? And that's exactly what Boy Williamson did before as well, because Boy Williamson fluffed it on that same corner. So it's that entry, and it is a tricky corner, that final turn 20, to get the ratio of power to grip right, isn't it? Because that's what you're battling with on that last corner, isn't it? Because you could so easily lose the grip and spin the car. Just coming down to turn 12 now, and we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Can't see who that is. Everyone is showing green on the board at this moment in time, and Ferrari moving aside there for the Haas to let him through. He is certainly shifting it. He's just coming round turn 15 now. Yeah, I'm about to say, he is definitely moving it. This could be very interesting for car 69 as he comes round turn 19. Let's have a look at this 131.8. Oh, so close. So close. But look at this. Look at the times between them. Boy Williamson, 131.813. Damie Hartman, 132.812. Almost exactly 1 second between the two drivers. Oh, Guido Ershine, no, he's not going to do this. Guido Ershine has actually quit out, and I think he quit. I don't know if he's done that on purpose, not realising that Boy Williamson was going to bet at that time. I think he was confident that he was going to be in that second row, wasn't he? Boy Williamson's just come round turn 12, and he's not going to improve. I don't know. Is he going to improve? I don't think he's on a fast enough lap at all. So that's pretty. No, he's not. He's just spun it. Actually, just saw that. Just spun it. I just caught it as I was going off camera there, and he's all doing donuts. Not what you want to do. It's a live track. That could be subject. Yeah, that is frustration, definitely. Lucky nobody coming there. And Damie Hartman is in P6, P7. Marco Pullen still out on track. He's just come round turn 12. What can he do? Yep, certainly looks that way. And just confirmation of the grid as it is. Bastard Breen, Seb Bogart will be in the first row. Ruud Window, Boy Williamson will be in the second row. Third row, Guido Ershine and Damie Hartman. Fourth will be Marco Pullen and Mark Strappers. And bringing up row 5, Martin Parder-Cooper and John Donkel. John Donkel not even setting a time, didn't actually go out on track there. I don't know if he's got any issues. It's a shame didn't catch that. Let's try and see if I can get anything on chat. Oh, hang on a second. We've got a bit of an issue here. Bear with me 1 second. Ah, you haven't clicked your mic. We can't hear you. So we are getting that resolved. Sorry, I do apologise, gentlemen. I've only just seen those messages. Okay, so I am being co-commentated here by Adrian. For those of you who've been watching the stream in the qualification, I have not gone mad. I have not been talking to myself. Unfortunately, Adrian forgot to turn his mic on. And I was so busy watching that I didn't actually catch up with race control, so apologies. But we do now have both commentators for the race itself. And not to worry.
I have to say, you guys missed some really good commentary from me. Never mind.
Adrian, I would like to say that one line you came out with was absolutely superb. It really was. It's just a shame nobody heard it.
Oh, it's like if a tree falls in the woods, yeah. No one's around.
Yeah, exactly. And is the cat in the box? Is the question.
Well, exactly. Mr. Schrodinger.
So we have Adrian the 8th live with us. He has now activated his mic. So if you enjoyed the qualifying session with me going nuts and talking to myself, you'll certainly enjoy this race with two commentators, that's for sure. So the drivers are now getting ready. Some leagues have a little stop between the queues and the start of the race. Not here at F1 tonight. This is hardcore F1 tonight. The only league that I know of that actually do 100% races. So they're the ones to watch and get an idea of, certainly. And let's run through our runners and riders. And we'll also have a quick look at the tyre choices. So Basta Breen, he's in P1. Alongside him, P2, Seb Bogart, his teammate. They're both on the Super Softs. Rude Window, he's in P3, row 2. He's on the Ultra Softs. Boy Williamson alongside him, P4. He's on the Super Softs. Guido Airshine, row 3, P5. In the Renault, he's on the Ultra Softs. Alongside him, Damie Hartman in the Haas on the Super Softs. Then we have Marco Pullen, row 4. Alongside him, Mark Stappers on the Ultra Softs. Then we have Martin Parder Cooper in the Red Bull. He's in row 5. Alongside him, John Doncourt, both on the Ultra Softs. In fact, all the remaining runners will be on Ultra Softs. Then we have row 6, Marcel Dronig and Marcel France in the Toro Rosso. Miguel Tourney, he's in row 7 in the Force India. Alongside him, Kevin Van Delft in the McLaren. Then we have Rob Mulder in the Williams. He's
Mulderink.
in row 8. Mulderink, sorry. Do apologise, Rob. Rob Mulderink is in row 8 in P15. Alongside him, bringing up the rear, is Nicky Visser. Now, Nicky, obviously, we haven't mentioned him at all. We certainly haven't heard you mention anything about him in qualifying, interestingly enough, Adrian.
Or anyone else.
Or anyone else, indeed. But, yeah, he's well out of place there, isn't he? Down in P16.
Yeah.
I personally thought that he would have gone for the softs, but he's going for the Ultra Softs. He's looking to charge through the field.
Yeah, I mean, some drivers like to do that. You know, even starting at the back, like to be on the softer tyre. Me personally, I'd go for sort of the long stint early on. Wait for the others to get the clean air in front, rather than sort of forcing energy out of the tyres early on in the traffic. Anyway, drivers are lining up now.
Yeah, drivers are indeed lining up. Nicky just coming into his box now. Basta Breen is ready to go. And the drivers are now ready. And the lights are coming on. And we are underway for the F1 tonight. USA Grand Prix, they are off, and a good start from both Ferraris, but look at that, Rude Window really getting right in the middle of the two, trying to pull through as they're coming into turn 1. Will he be able to hold that? And a major,
collision.
Look at this collision here with the Williams, the McLaren. My goodness me, Nicky Visser, and look at this, Nicky Visser has moved up 10 places, he's up to P6.
Blimey. 10 places off 2 corners.
That was, one corner. That was absolutely amazing. There was a huge pile up there. Not, I think, maybe some damage. Rob Mulder is in fact out. Rob Mulder is out. So Rob Mulder trying to get through the pack. I think he may, I'm not too sure what happened there, but definitely an incident on the exit and in the turn into turn 1. And we'll see maybe some drivers coming into the pits there. But Seb Bogart, he moves from 2 to 1. Basta Breen drops 1 from first to second. Rude Window did get in between them. Didn't quite manage to make it stick. He's trying again.
Oh,
now.
contact.
Look at this.
Sorry, contact between Window and the Breen. His front right touched the back of the Breen's wheel.
And that was turn 12. So
could have been nasty.
Could have been. I think that was averted there. We might see some drive coming in. Guido Airshine has moved up 1 to 4. So the Ferraris are maintaining that lead. Marcel France, he's moved up 7 from 12 to 5 in that Toro Rosso. He's got Nicky Visser hot on his heels though. Awesome start from Nicky Visser. 10 places.
Yeah, that's a dream start, isn't it? Dream opening lap for the Sauber driver. It'd be, it definitely feel like he's chosen the right tyres now.
Absolutely, yeah, most definitely. So great result from him. And Marcel Dronig goes up 4 from 11. Damie Hartman drops 2 from 6. Miguel Torney moves up 4 from 13. Martin Parder-Cooper down 1 from 9. Kevin Van Delft up 3 from 14. Marco Pullen, he's down 8, 9 now. And you can see all these drivers on the pitch. John Donkel, Marco Pullen, Kevin Van Delft, Mark Stappers, Boy Williamson, all in the pits, all having their noses changed. They've all had collisions there. And this really has mucked it up for Boy Williamson, and not what he wanted in any way, shape or form for the Haas driver, was it?
No, not at all. Not when they're trying to prevent the inevitable, really, of the Ferraris winning the championship. They've, as you said earlier on, they've only got to beat them by 4 points. And at the moment, they're on a potential 43 versus, what's that, 4 points for 8th place.
Yeah. We're riding on board at the moment with Ruud Window, and he's looking to close down. He's been hot on the heels of Bas de Breen. He certainly should have the advantage being on those Ultrasofts, but he just can't seem to get the move done, can he?
No, he's going to keep trying. He will do it eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, it's just taking a bit more effort than probably he'd like.
And in the meantime, Seb Bogart is really starting to pull away, full 2.5 seconds ahead. His teammate just does the fastest provisional lap of a 1:37. DRS is now enabled, so Ruud Window catches up a little bit to the Ferrari ahead of him, but he's going to have to watch it now through this S section of Sector 1. You've got to be dead careful. Let's quickly go on board. You can see what I mean here. I mean, this is so tight. It's a wide track, but when you're going through those, you feel like you're threading the eye of a needle, don't you?
Yeah, it's absolutely right. It's even harder to do when you're sort of right behind another driver, like Rob is right now, Ruud is. Yeah, because you need the downforce to hold you on the track, and you don't get that when you're in the slipstream of another car.
Let's see if you can make this DRS count. Bas de Breen will not have DRS, and he's within a good shout here. He's 2 tenths.
Yeah,
he will be able to make the move on him, I'm sure.
He wasn't defending with the ERS either. He had the energy power, but didn't do it.
So,
it's interesting.
Bas de Breen clearly feels not really worth fighting too much. To be fair, he doesn't need to. All he needs to do is stay within 4 or 5 seconds of Ruud Window, and he's fine anyway because he's on a harder compound tyre, so he's going to be out longer.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if de Breen's thinking exactly that and just playing it safe, playing it sensible, knowing exactly what his target is for this race.
Guido Airshine is alongside the Ferraris. They're coming up towards the wall now. So Guido Airshine make up the difference. The other Ultrasoft rider. And is he going to make turn 1? Yes, he gets ahead of the Ferrari. So Guido Airshine also getting ahead of the Ferrari. And as I say, I mean, again, it's not nice to be overtaken, but ultimately at the end of the day, all Bas has got to do is stay within 5. He's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. Damn. But all he needs to do is stay within 5 seconds or less of Ruud Window, and he should be fine. But he's already starting to drop down time. He's already 2.2 seconds behind Ruud Window. So I'm wondering if he's maybe got some sort of issue there. I don't know. Can he not deploy his ERS?
He might have. Problem? I mean, he's been in ERS mode 1 for more than a lap now. Hasn't come out of it at all. I think he might be just saving the battery up. Well, there we go. He's just turned it up to 2. He might have just heard me. I think he's just trying to save up a decent amount of energy so he can just defend a bit better. But he's obviously in P4 now instead of P2. But the drivers in front of him are struggling for ERS, apart from Ruud Window, he's actually got 70% and is in P2.
Well,
so
this could be interesting. Indeed, Marco Pullen gets a 3-second time penalty. So at this moment in time, Bas de Breen is still within hissing distance of Guido Airshine. He will have DRS. Can he do anything with it as they're coming up towards the wall? And that Renault is quite a distance ahead of him at this moment in time. Let's see if he can close down that gap around turn 1. he hasn't been able to close it down. If anything, that Renault's starting to pull away from him, so those ultra softs are starting to pay dividends. Now we are looking at 56 laps. The ultra softs, I would suspect you're probably looking. Well, we have seen them go quite deep. This track isn't so hard on the tyres. Sector 1 is probably the hardest on the tyres, so I would suspect those ultra softs will probably be able to go maybe 15 laps.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to judge because obviously I did 50% race. I'm just trying to scale it back slightly. It didn't quite work out that way. I think they might be able to do a few more than 15. I think they might go up to 20 laps on the ultras. Oh, and John Donkel's just lost it at the S's in Sector 1. He's just gone wide off to the right.
Yeah,
thought he was actually going to spin it and managed to hold it together.
But he has managed to hold it together. No damage to the Force India there. And let's quickly run through our runners and riders. So Seb Bogart, he's in that first place and he's really pulling away. He's got 4.3 seconds now on Rude Window and Williams in second. Guido Airshine is provisional third. He's 1.9 seconds behind Rude Window. Basta Breen is still on his tail, 8/10 there. Guido picking up 3-second time penalty. So Basta Breen and the Ferrari is in fourth. Nicky Visser in the Sauber is in fifth. And he's going to have a big old smile on his face no matter what. I think if he maintains that place, he'll be happy, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. De Breen's going to make the move, I think. Sorry, De Breen's lining up the Airshon.
He is in
turned
turn
up
one.
the ERS and he's right up the backside.
So let's get on board now as they go through the S's of Sector 1. Now, if he's going to make a move, he's going to need to make that move ideally on turn 8, out on the exit of 8 into 9. Because that is a good overtaking spot if you get your car lined up right. Let's see now, they're coming up to turn 8 now. Can he do it? No, he's not close enough. Round 9, dropping down round 10.
I think he's woken up, Sean, because he's turned up the DRS to defend. So he's now fully aware that he's right back behind him again. And yeah, I think he's going to... he's at 100% ERS, Sean, so he should be able to defend here, although he's not turning into
No, he's not. An awful lot he can do. That Ferrari just comes sailing past him. And John Dunkel's picked up a 3-second time penalty. Yeah, the Ferrari just sails past him before they get to turn 12, makes the move. That's phenomenal speed from that Ferrari, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was in mode 5 with slipstream and DRS. DRS activated as well, so he was at sort of maximum.
But Ershon was trying to respond with the ERS as well, but it just didn't seem to pan out for him, did it?
No, he still had room to turn it up a bit more. He's obviously conserving his ERS very well, possibly going for he's sort of looking sort of long term rather than this battle right now.
It's going to be interesting to see what goes here. Now, looking at this, we didn't shout who we thought was going to go pole, and we haven't shouted who we think is going to win the race, Adrian. So, going from here, I am going to go for. Just trying to think. I'm going to go with Guido Airshine.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that happening. I can see it happening.
I must admit, I think I can. That's why I'm going with it. I think Guido's, really got his act together towards the tail of this race, and I think he's in a good position in that P4 because his strength is always in the mid race sort of time, isn't it? That's where he really seems to come through, and it's his starts and finishes that have been weak. He's had a good start here. I'm confident he's going to have a good mid-race, so it's really going to see how he finishes it. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Guido Airshine.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know if you remember in the qualifying session, I did actually say that there would be 2 Ferraris and Rude Window in the top 3. I just didn't know which order.
That's not the same as saying who's going to be on pole, actually.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. But as for the winner of this race, you know what? I'm gonna go with Nicky Visser.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, really. Yeah. I think
it's a good call.
It's going to be a hell of an achievement if he does, starting from P16 to win this race, especially with those 2 Ferraris still in it.
But look at this, he's closed right in on that Renault as they hit the wall now. round turn 1, and he is right on the back of that Renault, who's equally riding the tails of the Ferrari ahead of him. So this is going to be very interesting. Nicky having to back off so he doesn't go into the back of that Renault. That's going to cost him not really what he wanted to do, but discretion is the better part of valour, as they say. And he needs to close him down now around that turn 10, because he's going to get the drop on him. He'll have the DRS obviously as they come round 11. Can he make the move before they get into that turn? He's side by side here. Look at this, and he gets it. Back. Oh, but a bad exit. Bad exit from
the bad exit from the green as well. Yeah.
Really bad exit out of 11, and this now is giving Nicky Visser the chance to move up into 3rd place. Look at this.
What did I tell you?
Fantastic.
What did I tell you?
Absolutely fantastic. He was closing down on the Renault as they coming out of turn 20. Had the DRS, looking to try and make the move into turn 1. Couldn't quite do it. Managed to do it on the exit of turn 11 by really going in hard on turn 11. But Bas de Breen ahead of him had made an error on the exit of 11, had gone all over the track, lost a lot of time, gave Nicky Visser the opportunity to use that DRS that he had on the Renault, on the Ferrari, and take 3rd place. Fantastic job.
Yeah, double overtake from Nicky Visser. I wonder if de Breen was distracted actually just on the exit of the turn onto the long straight, distracted perhaps by the action going on behind him, and actually de Breen just got slightly wide there as well.
Could it be that he's having issues with those super softs and the way he's actually set up? I don't know. But I'm just looking on here actually, interestingly enough, I'm riding on board with Bas de Breen, and we're showing him as super softs, but he actually, the tyres he's got on his car are showing us purple wool ultra softs.
Yeah, it's a common glitch, unfortunately. Yes, yeah, just something you get used to.
So annoying, really is. Well, Nicky Visser is already starting to pull away, and Guido Ershine is still on the back of that Ferrari. Can he make that move into turn 12? He's got the DRS, but he just doesn't seem to be able to close down that gap enough. He's approaching it now, but it's just not enough to make the move before they get into turn 12, is it?
No, quite right. There is some action going on behind, by the way. Party Cooper's about to make the move on...
he has made the move on Marcel Dronig. So Party Cooper makes the move in the DRS on Marcel Dronig before turn 12, and pushes himself up into P7. So good move there from Martin Party Cooper in the Red Bull, and he's really fighting his way through as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing really well. Yeah, I mean, at some pace that he's got, and I don't think we've really given him enough credit. It's all been about the front. Well, it was the front 3. It's now kind of the front 5.
Well, yeah, but Martin Parder Cooper's moved up 2 places. He did start in P9, but Marcel France has maintained that positioning. He did move up 6 places.
Yeah, Window's in the pit, by the way.
Oh, Window's in the pit. Now. He's going on to the softs. So, but Nicky Visser, phenomenal. Look at this, he's up into P2 now, obviously, as Ruder's come in. So he's provisional P2. And let's not forget, he started in P16, 14 places. Absolutely phenomenal. That really is a great drive. Let's hope he can maintain it all the way through to the end of this race.
Yeah, let's hope so. He's actually catching Seb Bogart at the moment, slowly but surely. I don't know for how much longer he will catch him though, because his tyres are going to last considerably shorter time than Bogart's.
Well, we were saying that these ultra softs could potentially, I was saying mid-teens, you said they might be able to go to the 20s. Rude Window's come in at the end of lap 9 to go on to those softs. Now, is that tyre wear or is that strategy? Because those softs are not going to be able to do 46 laps. I mean, they'll probably do, 30, maybe 35 laps, depending on load, but that means he's going to have to come in again. So I would suspect he's going to do another ultra soft run for the close of this race.
Yeah, he'll probably do the ultra soft. I think Window, he did actually have some wear still left in his ultra soft tyres, so but he's chosen to pit fairly
early.
Strategy
then. This is strategy.
Yeah, he's gone for the undercut and the drivers ahead of him.
Yeah, definitely. Rude Window is looking at the undercut here on those drivers ahead of him, but in particular, Basta Breen and Seb Bogart. Now, at this moment in time, it is all still pretty close. So there is around about 23, 24 seconds to first place. So there is possible that he could actually get that undercut, depending upon the times that he does. And he's going to need to get past Martin Parder-Cooper, though, isn't he? That's the thing. He needs to get past that Red Bull.
Yeah, he won't want to sit behind him for too long. I think he'll do it. He'll do it on the DRS, the long back straight. In fact, Parder-Cooper's got sort of no energy left in his battery, so yeah, it should be quite an easy move.
And Rude looking to line himself there on the exit of turn 11. He's going to undoubtedly make the move on that Red Bull. Question is how close is he going to get to the Toro Rosso before they get down to turn 12? Just Parder-Cooper's making the move on the Toro Rosso. So this is a three-way overtake here. All side by side here as they're coming round turn 12. So Parder-Cooper makes the move on France. Rude Window makes the move on France as well. So 2 places lost there by Marcel France, drops down to P7. But Rude Window is still hot on the heels as they come round 15 of that Red Bull, isn't he? He's going to have the second bite of the cherry once they get onto that start-finish straight as they approach the wall.
Yeah, I think it was made. The move was made more difficult because the Parder-Cooper had DRS himself. It's always more difficult to overtake another driver who's using DRS.
Absolutely. So look at this now. You should have him here on the run up to the wall. You can see the climb that they've got there. Yeah, and indeed makes the move into turn 1 before turn 1. Gets himself back up into 5th place. Now this is looking very interesting indeed, because he is 24 seconds at the moment behind Seb Bogart. John Donkel picking up a 3-second time penalty. This strategy could really pay off for him in a major way. Even if he doesn't go on to the Ultra Softs for the close of this race, he still has the choice of the Super Softs, which is probably not too bad either way, really, is it?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. He's got options open to him, which he could change depending on what Seb Bogart does in terms of his strategy. So it's kind of the ball's kind of in Bogart's court for him to return to the window. Also, can I just?
Yep.
Sorry, can I just say about that move Parder-Cooper made on France, and then obviously Window passing France as well. Respect to France for sort of backing out of defending. He was fully aware that he wasn't racing Window for position. I mean, I know they're racing on track, but he knows he wasn't sort of part of his race. So fair play to him.
He was looking hopeful in turn 12, but as you say, he didn't really push it, and again, discretion the better part of valour in that instance. But interesting, Guido Airshine, 12 lap old Ultra Softs. We said that Rude Window came in, he still had some wear on them, so clearly these Ultra Softs will go deeper. But to make it work, Airshine, does he need to get past De Breen, or does he need to try and make the undercut on De Breen? This is the thing now, isn't it? He's going to have to go onto the softs. The question is, when does he go onto the softs? And I suspect it's when he starts to lose time to De Breen, really. At the moment, he's closing in on him still.
I think he could perhaps learn from Rude Window and adopt the same kind of strategy as him. I'd probably come in now rather than wasting energy or using up energy trying to overtake De Breen on track. Knowing that his tyres are going to last longer than yours anyway. There's sort of nothing much to gain from doing that. If that makes sense.
No,
I'd probably come in now.
Yeah, it does make sense. Miguel Tourmaline in a Force India picking up 3-second time penalty. But Airshine, he's just not really closing it down. It's steadying around about that 1.1, 1.2 gap, and I agree with you. I think now is the time to come in and get on those super softs. And, on those softs, not those super softs. Get on those softs and get that middle stint done and dusted and do the undercut if you can. And Marco Pullen picking up another 3-second time penalty. Marco really pushing here. Mark Strappers is actually closing in on his teammate, Kevin van Delft. And on the S's, and Kevin van Delft going awry there through the S's. They're coming up round turn 7 to turn 8. And I'm pretty sure that Strappers will make the move on Van Delft as they come on to the DRS straight between 11 and 12. So Kevin Van Delft going very wide round 11. And indeed, Mark Stappers not even got the DRS yet already, right on the tails of his teammate. Easily makes the move before they get down to 12. Off. Yeah, but you know, Mark Stappers locks up again. 3-second time penalty for corner cutting round 12 there. Didn't really need to do that. But I think that was more to do with that lock-up. He just was approaching a little bit too hot, wasn't he?
Yeah, too hot and too tight as well. He was making it very difficult for himself. Trying to make the corner right on the inside like that.
A bit tight
a little
around
bit.
That turn.
Is that Dutch?
A little bit tight. Yeah, it's a schmuck on a pancake. Oh, goes wide. Round 19 and he's into the pits. He's into the pits.
Yeah, that's why
he's on 11 lap old Ultrasoft, so hardly a great surprise there. And John Donkel bringing up the rear at the moment in P15. Shame to see John down there. He didn't set a time in Q3, and I hope that wasn't an issue with regards to cells, but didn't even get out on track, so he's not having a great race, is he, down in P14? He's really been doing some great racing recently, but this doesn't seem to be his track, does it?
No, it doesn't. That's pretty much what I was going to say. You know, it's not doesn't seem to be a favourite of his.
No.
I mean, the last race, however, Japan. I mean, he was up to P2 at one point.
Yeah.
So it was only sort of 2 or 3 laps from the end, and he had a collision with Ershon, and.
Yeah.
I mean, he ended up, I think it was P9 in the end.
But, in the end,
yeah, but we've definitely seen better.
Great race.
Yeah, we've seen better from John. I think we might. I hope we see something better in the sort of next few races, or the last 3 races of the season.
Well, one would certainly hope so. And Mark Stappers, after coming out of the pit, he's now down in P15. John Donkel in the Force India's 14. Kevin Van Delft remains in 13, but he's a new driver to the league. I think he's still trying to learn the track, because he is pretty scrappy right now, and I'm pretty sure he does also use a controller, so you can tell that on some of the cornering on here. But yeah, an up-and-coming driver, first season, so this is really going to be a major learning curve for him, first season, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have him here. Yeah, and you know, we thank him for joining him. But yeah, like I say, you know, it's his first season, and often that alone, the pressure of doing these you know, live races, especially when they're being streamed, yeah, that pressure can get to you.
Yeah, that is very
very
true.
With experience, I'm sure he'll sort of come out of his shell, so to speak, on track, and show us what he can actually do.
I'm sure he will. And he picks up, unfortunately, a 3-second time penalty for sector 1 there. Marco Pullen in the Sauber, definitely out of place down there in P12.
Yeah.
Not really where he wants to be. He needs to try and fight through. Now, he did start on the soft, so he's on 13 lap old soft. I would suspect that he's probably going to go on to the super softs next, isn't he?
Yeah, he should do. His teammate, however, has just gone on to he's gone on to the super soft. Nicky Visser has just come in the pit. He's come out P6.
Yeah.
So he's going to be fighting Ershon on track. They're both pitted together, in fact.
Well, that's going to be interesting. So Ershine undoubtedly, and Ershine's gone on to the super softs as well.
Yeah.
So okay, that's going to be interesting. So
They'll
Marco
probably see a
Pullen,
lot of each other in this then.
I think they will. He's down in P12. Nicky Visser just picks up a 3-second time penalty. Miguel Torni in the Force India again, like his teammate. I don't think this is really his track, but he's doing well. I mean, Miguel Torni, normally in most races you'd see him sort of, towards the back of the pack. So he's in the mid-pack at the moment in P11. So he's done well. He's on 14 lap old softs at this moment in time. Sorry, not on 14 lap, that's Marco Pullen. Miguel Torni's on 3 lap old softs. And then we've got Marcel Dronig. Now, he's coming on the old soft. Marcel always has an interesting race strategy, let's say. Generally, always the driver that pits the most, because he tends to prefer to go on the faster tyres all the time. And and forsake that, or go for the pit stops and the fast tyres rather than the less pit stops and the harder compound tyres.
Yeah, I imagine he sort of overfuels the car quite a lot as well, which you can afford to do if you're doing more stops, because even though you'll wear your tyres more with more fuel, because you're pitting more frequently, you're actually doing less laps on those tyres, so you can afford to do that and stay in rich mix for longer. So yeah, it can work out better on some tracks. Oh, this has almost lost it there, turn 1. Just
Marcel
caught
France, Toro Rosso's P9,
Safe.
Boy Williamson in the Haas, just coming around turn 1. He's in P8. Martin Parder-Cooper, he's still there in P7. Nicky Visser, well, he's pitted, gone on to the Super Softs, and he's behind Basta Breen. Guido Airshine obviously made the move on Basta Breen there by the looks of it, because they were line astern in the pits, unless he came out ahead of him on the pit exit.
De Breen's just pitted, so yeah, he just come out behind, which means that the undercut has worked.
It has.
Done the undercut on De Breen.
But the undercut has worked, but he's gone on to Super Softs.
Yeah. But I'm sure he's got a couple more tricks up his sleeve, Guido.
Well, let's hope so. I've got to say, I'm also a little bit curious about his strategy. It's not always the most obvious. I think that's just a Team Renault thing, obviously. So Basta Breen is sandwiched at the moment between Nicky Visser in the Sauber and Guido Airshine. And Guido's a good 2.2 seconds ahead of him, so there is quite a gap. He's starting to close in now on Damie Hartman, interestingly enough. A little bit loose round turn 19. He's got the DRS. He is within DRS zone. Can he make it stick coming up to the wall? I don't think he will. I don't think he'll be able to make the move beforehand. But he's
perhaps not. Sorry.
Approaching hard and fast.
Sorry. Bogart's just come out the pit. He's on the soft tyre now, so he was leading the race. With Windham now leading. I got full softs.
Indeed. So Ruud Window's early pit has actually paid dividends, hasn't it? Because look at this. You know, Guido Airshine, Damie Hartman, they're fighting at the moment for third place. Seb Bogart has pitted and come out, but he is 1.8 seconds behind Ruud Window, who is on 8-lap old softs. I mean, that is a bit of a jump, but it's not a huge jump, is it? Not on those softs.
No, it's not. No, but he is leading at the moment. So, you know, you could say in one respect that the undercut has worked. And he'll probably look to undercut him again as well. Well, he's going to have to, because he's going to have to pit a few laps earlier. Yeah. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he goes on for his last stint. Whether he'll come in slightly earlier and go onto the Super Soft, or try and hang it out and go onto the Ultras.
Boy Williamson
I'd probably go Supers.
And Marco Pullen, they're still on their original softs. They're both, well, Marco Pullen 16 laps, Damie Hartman 15. So Damie has obviously, I think he did have to come in, didn't he? Yeah, he did, yeah, so that's why. Yeah, the question is now is how deep can they go on those softs? Now I would expect them, the front guys, they should be able to go into the mid-20s, but I would suspect that they're probably going to want to pit Marco Pullen and Damie Hartman round about lap 20 or early 20s, I would suspect.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to go sort of too much further than that. I mean, what have we seen from the ultra soft tyres? We've seen sort of 12 or 13 laps. The supers have done, probably about 18 laps. Yeah, I mean, you might get to the mid-20s with the supers, with the softs.
Well, let's see. I think it'll be the early ones. I think they'll come in earlier rather than later. And Marco Pullen's just made the move on Boy Williamson. So Marco Pullen, and that was in the pits, because Boy Williamson's just come out of the pits. So Marco Pullen has got ahead of Boy Williamson, and he's on the oldest set of tyres on the track at this moment in time. 17 lap old softs. There is certainly wear on that inside left. Can't check the rear tyres. Right tyre, front right looks okay. It's that inside left, that's where the wear is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite harsh on that inside left in this track.
So, But Boy Williamson is closing down on him. Seb Bogart sets the provisional fastest time, 1:37. And Basta Breen, his teammate, picks up a 3-second time penalty. So Nicky Visser is really pushing now Basta Breen, and equally Basta Breen on the back of Guido Ershine. So this could be a very interesting little fight going on here for 4th and 5th place.
Yeah, quite right.
You can see.
Meanwhile,
oh, Damie Hartman! Damie Hartman, what's this? Guido Ershine. Damie Hartman gets past Guido Ershine into turn 1. No.
Yeah, I just saw Ershine off track. How did that happen?
I don't know. I think he just locked up. I think he does go in quite hard and deep on turn 1, and I'm wondering if he went in a little bit too hot and just lost control of the car in that turn 1. Obviously aware that he had Basta Breen on his tail.
Visser's lost it. Visser spun.
Yeah, Visser spun. Oh my goodness me! And that was on turn 9. So turn 9, Nicky Visser has spun out, and he's now 8 seconds behind Basta Breen. But more importantly, he's got Martin Parder-Cooper breathing down his neck with DRS as well. So is Parder-Cooper going to make the move on him? Let's see now. He's got the DRS on Visser. He's not going to be able to close him down hard enough, I think. 3-second time penalty for Marco Pullen. But this has really helped Parder-Cooper out, because he's closed right down on Visser now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I think the cause of Visser's spin might have been because he saw Ershine go off. He probably started smiling about that, knowing that he had the chance to overtake him. And I think he was sort of thinking about how he was going to celebrate getting past him before he'd actually done it.
Yeah, and that really has mixed things up now, because Nicky Visser is now nearly 9 seconds behind Basta Breen. Basta Breen is nearly 2 seconds behind Ershine. Ershine's dropped down into 4th. Damie Hartman's moved up into 3rd place, making that move on him on that error that he made into turn 1. And Seb Bogart is now 17 seconds down the road, but Seb is closing in on the back of Ruud Windau as they're coming round turn 11, and he will have DRS on him. He is definitely going to be able to make that move. Now Windau can only move once on his defence. He's going to have to be very careful. He can't defend. There's nothing that he can do. Trying to go now into turn 12, moving across, trying to look at maybe getting a cut in on that apex of turn 12. Can't do it. So Bogart has now got ahead of Windau on track.
Yeah, that's significant. Bogart was he just got the fastest lap on a couple of laps ago. I know Boy Williamson's got it now, but yeah, at the time Bogart was half a second faster than anyone else on the track.
That just goes to show you. For those of you that may be watching the mixer feed, if you go to f.1.tonight on YouTube, you can watch the feed that is streamed live to there, same as this one, just got a couple more graphics basically. That's the only difference, but makes it that a bit more interesting. And Seb Bogart leading this race now. Ruud Windau, now this is the thing, Ruud Windau did the undercut beforehand. He's on 12 lap old softs. Not a huge shake, because he can obviously still go quite deep on those. The question is, how deep does he go? And he's definitely going to want to do the undercut again, isn't he? And on that basis, where, lap 22 of 56, we're not even halfway through this race yet. What does he do? He's going to have to go surely onto another set of another set of softs. He wants to go to the end of this race, and I think that's probably the way he's going to go, isn't it? Can he do that?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just trying to do the maths here. I mean, there's 34, 35 laps including this one. We'll say 34 for now. He's done 12 laps on these tyres. Yeah, so he's still got 34 to do. He'll want to get up to 20, 22, 23 laps. It's another 10. That'll bring him down to 24. Yeah, so there we go. So you want to do about another 12 or 13 laps on these tyres before he pits, and then do the exact same again to the end of the race. Yeah. But in the meantime, he's got to stay within just a few seconds of Bogart. He can't let him escape too far up the road.
No, he certainly can't. And ideally, I think he wants to try and keep him within at least a couple of seconds. And while we're discussing that, a real battle going on between Erskine and the Haas driver, Damie Hartman. And they're really, Gershon is just not giving up the ghost here. He's really battling. Now let's watch him into turn one. He does tend to go quite deep, brake late. Let's see if he does it again. Yep, he does, but he goes wide. Oh, nearly loses it. Vereen is right now closing down on his tail. And yeah, his turn one isn't ideal, is it, Erskine? He's not really getting what he needs out of it, is he?
No, he's not. It looks like there's just not enough grip on that part of the track that he's using. Because as soon as he put the power down, the car just wanted to just sort of step out, and yeah, he had to sort of go a bit tentative.
Oh, and debris nearly into the back of Erskine as they go into turn 11. Now this is going to be interesting because Debris will have DRS and Erskine also. Let's go with Debris. He's hanging back.
Was late with
he's
the.
Hanging back. He's hanging
late.
back. Yeah, he's definitely hanging back. Erskine does make the move on Hartman, as we saw there from Debris' cockpit view. He does get ahead of him, but I think Debris is holding back there. Is he replenishing by any chance? Because he must be, because he really didn't close that down. He didn't really push it too much.
No, he had no intention of making the pass. He was very, very late on the DRS activation. He closed it early as well. Stayed in mode 1 on the ERS. I think he's charging up the battery. He's probably going to just use his driving ability to stay within DRS range of the drivers in the front, rather than relying on the engine. And then when he's at full charge, he'll sort of unleash it.
And look at this, you can see again that so much time that Guido Erskine is losing in that turn one. He's just got a bit of a strange approach to that turn one, and he's just picked up a 3-second time penalty through the S's of sector 1 there. And Damie Hartman, we're just in cockpit view now just to see him closing down, or trying to close down on Erskine, but equally Debris is right on the tail of Hartman here. And now I think Debris is going to look to make that move on Hartman as they come out of 11. I think now is the time.
I'm still not convinced, you know. I think he's still saving the battery up. Yeah, he's biding his time.
Yeah, he's activated the DRS, but not right on the line. He's just hanging in there. You're quite right there, Adrian. He's just doing enough to stay with them, but not really pushing the limits at this moment in time, Debris.
Yeah, I wonder if he's aware that Hartman's tyres are some 14 laps older than his own. He might just be waiting for Hartman to come into the pit and make it easy for him.
Yeah, I mean, I would think Hartman's going to be coming in, if not now, certainly within the next lap or two. And that then will obviously release Debris to close down on Erskine. And that maybe could be what he's looking for, because he's a real competitor at this moment. Yep, as I thought, Hartman is in. So Debris now needs to close in on Erskine, because that's really his competitor, is Erskine on that track. That's the man he needs to get past at this moment in time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. He might even still take another lap. I know Debris seems to like be on full, like 100% ERS.
Yeah,
before he starts making a move. There we go. There we go. He's turning it up now. I think he's coming for him.
Well, there we go. Is he going to look to try and close him down on this DRS detection point here and get it on that?
He's in ERS saver mode.
Yeah. Let's see what he can do now into this turn 11. He does go quite deep on the braking here. Normally allows him to close right down. And yeah, and he's 5/10. I don't know if that's going to be enough to.
This would be an easy move. That'd be an easy move, I think.
Yeah. Nicely done there, down into turn 12. Makes the move, so Bas Debris, and that's exactly what he was doing. He knew that Damie Hartman needed to come in. He just needed to stay within enough distance that he could close down on Erskine. That's exactly what he's done. And good move, good driving, good strategy there from Ferrari.
Yeah, I think that was the key, really, is the strategic element of that. I couldn't say the word then.
Strategically.
I might as well try it in Dutch.
Well, it certainly was double Dutch to me, Adrian, if that helps. Bogart picking up a 3-second time penalty. That could be interesting.
That could be significant, actually. Yeah, Window's only 3 seconds, not even that, behind him. He's managed to stay with him. I mean, the lap time difference between the two drivers is about half a second in favour of Bogart. But it's only half a second. It's not any more than that. And I think Window needs it to stay that way.
Well, Window is progressively losing time. Now, Seb Bogart did make the move on the Force India, so I wondered, he must have had DRS. But now that gap is 3.2 seconds, and I think Window needs to think about coming in if he's going to do that undercut.
But De Bruyne's just lost it. Sorry, De Bruyne's just almost spun, just coming onto the long straight.
Onto 11.
He was going to go into the
out of 11.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very uncharacteristic.
Bas de Bruyne makes an error into turn 11 and allows Guido Airshine to get back past him, so now he's going to have to do it all over again.
That's shaken De Bruyne up a little bit, I'm sure.
Well, I'm
very
sure
unusual.
He'll quickly recoup, but it could have been he might have had a lock-up, because he does go in quite hard and tight on that turn 11, so I'm wondering if he maybe had a lock-up, or because he knew that Airshine was on his back, open up that throttle that little bit too early before actually exiting the apex of 11, which would have wrong-footed him.
Yeah, he may well have done. Or, sometimes we had it in Synergy, actually, at Monza, a driver fiddles with the setting, like the ERS or fuel in particular, just at the wrong time, and loses concentration, puts the power down at the wrong moment, and spins. So yeah, I mean, it's easily done. You need full focus to prevent things like that from happening.
Yeah, it is so difficult, and certainly this year a lot more. The cars react, I feel, in this year's game a lot more to the power being applied on the exit of the corners, and it really can deliver a hell of a lot of power and really can wrong foot you.
Yeah, it can. We've seen it so many times, and I know from experience as well.
Well, at this moment in time, I was just closing in on Marcel France because he was closing in on Boy Williamson, but he's dropped back somewhat now. But in the meantime, Davey Hartman set the fastest lap time with a 1:36. So Davey Hartman is looking to charge through on those super softs. His target is Martin Paardekooper, who's just ahead of him now as they come round turn 12. I think he's going to close him down pretty quick because Paardekooper's on 13 lap old super softs, and that is definitely the man that's in his sights at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to put it into perspective, that fastest lap that Hartman just did, that's 2.5 seconds faster than Martin Paardekooper's last lap.
So that really says it all. Now the question is, Paardekooper is staying out, so Hartman should be able to get the DRS and certainly get close to him. I don't know if he'll be able to make the move in turn 1. He certainly won't be able to do, but he'll certainly be able to close that gap down quite dramatically, and then probably be looking to make the move on the exit of turn 11. But he's got to stay in tight to Paardekooper, and that's very tricky, isn't it, through these S's, because you're getting too close and you lose all downforce.
Yeah, it's at the end of seeing a few times in this. You need that downforce in that section. It's so difficult to stay behind a driver through that. But at the same time, you need to be close to them as you come into this corner here, because it leads onto that long DRS straight. You need a good exit, a good run at driver to give yourself a chance.
Don't know if he's going to be able to do it on this one. He's 5/10 behind him. He should be able to make moves. Certainly visually looks like he's got the right distance. Yeah,
definitely. Paardekooper crank the engine right up, but he's got nothing left in the engine to fight with. So I think it's going to be Hartman's
a nice straightforward
position.
move there by Davey Hartman in the Haas. Takes 6th place from Martin Parder-Cooper, and he's moving his way up the field. He's now got Nicky Visser 3 seconds down the road to him. But Nicky, yeah, he's on those 12-lap-old super softs. He came right back from the back of the pack and fantastic, moved up 14 places. They actually got into P1 at one point. He is now on 13-lap-old super soft, so he's probably going to be looking to come in within the next few laps, I would suspect, because there's good wear on these tyres. He's not going to be able to close down much more to Basta Breen, is he? There's not an awful lot he can do there.
No, not really. I mean, De Breen's mistake has probably helped this slightly. We have to just sort of wait and see. I mean, we're only just over the halfway point of this race. We have to wait and see what happens in this this last stint, because there's still more sort of strategy cards to play.
Oh yeah, definitely. And De Breen closing in now, but again he lost time on that turn 11 to Erskine. He lost quite a bit of time actually. He's just doesn't seem to be too comfortable on that turn 11. He's probably being overcautious on it now. So
yes. I was just going to say, he's fighting with his ERS management now as well.
He is.
He wasn't earlier on. He was sort of comfortably saving up, staying behind the driver, and then using it to make the move sort of 4 or 5 laps later. Now, I think because of that error, he's put pressure on himself to try and make the pass quicker. So he's not using the ERS in the same manner as he was previously. Same discipline.
No, he isn't. He isn't being
and there's another
3 second time penalty.
3 second time penalties he's got in the last 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah, I think a bit of frustration showing through in De Breen. I think he just needs to take a bit of a chill pill at this moment in time. You know, it is what it is. Just stay with him and see where it goes. You are on harder compound tyres. You've done more or less the same laps, 13 and 14 respectively. He's going to have to pit before you know, go with that, I would say, and try and go a bit deeper, because again, that's probably the only response he's got to the front 2 runners, his teammates Seb Bogart and Ruud Window. I mean, Ruud Window now is 4.5 seconds behind Seb Bogart. He doesn't want it to go much more than that. He's going to have to pit pretty soon. We've got 26 laps remaining.
Yeah, he's only got.
He's going to have to go on to another set of super
to...
softs, surely, to take him through to the end if he comes in.
No, I think he'll go onto the softs.
Yeah.
I think he'll do it in 3 laps time. So they've done 23, and there'll be 23 remaining. I think that will be his plan. It's kind of advantage Bogart though, because he has the opportunity to go onto the super softs at the end of this soft stint to sort of counteract the undercut from Window.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense, and I think that's probably what he'll do. But it all depends on what Ruud Window will do. You know, we're reading it as Ruud Window will come in probably around about lap 23, go on to the softs with the remaining 23 laps, and that does make sense. But I'm thinking that isn't gonna work for him.
It's not going to work. No, it's not.
It's not going to work for him. Won't. So I think the only recourse he has right now at this moment in time is to actually stay out deeper and maybe stay out for another 6 or 7 laps and look to go onto the super softs. That's still a bit of a risky call, but I think that's probably all that he's got left in his bag, actually.
Yeah, it could be. But, you know, Bogart's just going to do the exact same thing, and then we'll be where we are right now at the end of the race. With probably around a 4-second gap, maybe slightly more, because Window's tyres would have done more laps.
Yeah, it's going to be
either way. It's difficult. It's going to be difficult for Window, but you never know.
And Breen looking to try and make the move into 12 on Erskine. He had a sneaky little peek there, and Erskine more than aware that he's there, defends solidly. But they're coming up round to turn 15 now, and then they'll be coming round the final, or the sector 3 turn 16, 17, 18, Hayden Hill. So I think De Bruyne is lining up Erskine for a start-finish DRS into turn 1. Yeah, he's got 4/10 on him. This is the one now. Now, he needs to go in left, brake early, go in left and cut that corner, because Erskine always goes in hard. Oh, look at that, really closes him down there.
He's got bundles of EOS there, Sean. I think he's taking a leaf out of De Bruyne's book.
Oh, but look at this. He made an error there. Round turn 6, and that's allowed De Bruyne to close right down on him now. And this is going to be critical as they come round turn 9. He's going to have the DRS when they get on that straight. De Bruyne will go in tight and late up on this turn 11. He's got to watch his exit. Lovely, nice. Oh, and he spins it again!
No!
No! Into the
no.
barrier, spins it again. He can't. Oh, he's got to watch his entry onto that there. Almost reversed into the McLaren. And that is it. I think De Bruyne now is really, he's got Nicky Visser on his tail. And he's got no DRS, but Visser is not going to let it go. And then you've got Damie Hartman in behind him. I think De Bruyne has just dropped himself into a world of hurt. That's Visser through. So Visser goes through. Hartman goes through.
I feel bad for him, I do.
He was got some front wing damage there, I think, because he's let both those drivers through.
Yeah, he tagged the barrier.
And what a disaster there for Bastien De Bruyne. He just laid down that power. It's what we were saying earlier, Adrian. You saw it there. There was no better way to show it and demonstrate than what we've just seen, really, isn't it?
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, De Bruyne's done everything right, really, in this race. In terms of his strategy calls, his ERS management, his fuel management, and then it's just a couple of little areas like that. It can just completely just erase all that hard work.
Yeah,
got pole position as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, absolutely. And just watching Visser went majorly out of shape through the S's there in sector 1. And Damie Hartman, he's up in 4th place. Guido Erskine is now looking pretty solid, I have to say, at this moment in time for a podium finish.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good driver and he's had a good race. He probably deserves the podium here. I think Nicky Visser's still in with a chance of maybe taking that podium away.
Let's have a look now. What have we got? We've got 22 laps remaining. Nicky Visser is on 17 lap old Super Softs. So could he come in and go on to another set of Super Softs?
He could do. They'll be in a state by the end of the race, but it's doable.
Damie Hartman, he's ahead of him. He's on a fresher lap of fresher set of Super Softs, 8 laps old. Guido Erschine's on 18 lap old Super Softs and still going for his 19th lap. And he clearly feels he's comfortable on those. Let's have a quick look at them, and they're not. Actually, they're looking very.
This is in.
Even. They're looking very even.
Sorry, this is pitted now, and also Windale, surprisingly, has come in and he's out on the Super Softs. We thought he was going to go on to the Softs for the last 23 laps, but he's going to try it on the Supers from now. That's going to be difficult.
22 laps. I don't think he can go 22 laps on the Supers, to be honest with you. Yes, he will have a lesser fuel load.
Oh, Marcel France has retired.
Marcel France has indeed retired. He's actually DNF'd. Let's have a look around here if we can see where he's gone out.
Yeah, last corner, I think. Last corner?
No, can't see anything there.
I think he's on the inside. He's just sort of by the pit entrance. I wonder if he crashed into the pit, actually. His tyres were 19 laps old. It wouldn't make sense.
I think that's what he's done. I think he's crashed it into the pit. So Marcel France in the Toro Rosso has DNF'd. And we're pretty sure he's actually gone into the barrier on the pit entry or into the wall. And that's not been great for him. We're running with John Donkel at this moment in time. He's just coming on the start-finish straight. Letting the Williams through there of Rude Window, just lapping him. So he's down in 12th place. Marcel Dronig in the Renault is in 11th place. Marco Pullen in the Sauber, hot on the heels of the Ferrari of Seb Bogart. I thought that was. He's got DRS, but interestingly enough. So Seb just lapping him. Miguel Tordi in the Force India. Not a bad race from Miguel. He's up in P9, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that. He's in the points. And Bass de Breen,
yep.
Oh God, what can we say about Bass? And as Adrian said, I can only say the same. And look at that, as we say, he sets the provisional fastest time with a 1:35.6. But I don't think that's going to save him. Really don't. We've got 21 laps remaining now for this F1 tonight. 2018 season 4 race here at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. It's been a fantastic race. We've got yellow flag, sector 2. So don't know who
that's
that
the
is.
Force India. It's John Donkel.
John Donkel. I don't know what happened there, because that was on the straight. It must have been turn 11. He must have gone off somewhere. So John Donkel, he's down in P12. Kevin Van Delft in the McLaren, he's P13.
So Viss has just made the move again on Boy Williamson. Williamson actually made the pass on him with much older tyres. Viss is very fresh tyres, but lost the position to Williamson. He's gained it back now.
So Nicky Visser now gets ahead of Boy Williamson, and that's quite important. I mean, obviously Boy Williamson will need to pit before him, but he did really want to try and make that move on track so he can get ahead, because he was holding him up, and you can see Nicky Visser is already starting to majorly pull away from him, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's due to, I think he might have lost the position due to the cold tyres. They weren't quite up to temperature, and then so as they do come alive, they give him the grip, and he's able to use them.
Into the pits.
Recommended.
So Boy Williamson into the pits, and a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits for Mark Stappers. So he's received
on the grass at the moment.
optimum there that you can, and that's through the S's. He's not going to be happy with that.
He's done another one. He's still not on the track.
20 seconds, he's still not on track, so he lost it. And that looks to me that that was probably turn 3 that he would have lost it in that instance. So not a good one there from Mark Stappers.
No, not ideal. No, he's got grassy tyres, and it's very difficult to get through the S's with such minimal grip.
Yeah. Marcel Dronig, as I said, he's down in 11. Marco Pullen is 10. Miguel Tawney, the Force India, 9. Boy Williamson, 8. Bass de Breen, as we were commenting on, as he set the fastest lap there, he's down in P7. Well, let's see what he can do on those super softs. He's got Nicky Visser 8 seconds down the road to him. So, but Nicky is on equal set of super softs there in P6. He's looking to close down, if he can, on Martin Parder-Cooper, who's 7 seconds down the road to him. And Parder-Cooper looking solid. I mean, a solid race has got to be said from Parder-Cooper. He hasn't really put a foot wrong. He's just been sticking in there and going for it, really.
Yep, no, he's racing his race, and as you said, he hasn't made one mistake really. Solid performance from him. There's 10 points for P5. That's nothing to sniff at.
No, absolutely not.
Rude Window, by the way, is his fastest lap just then, a 34.6. That's nearly 3 seconds faster than Bogard ahead of him.
Wow. Now that is interesting. 3 seconds. Now, that being the case, let's have a look now. 8 laps.
In fact,
so that put him on 45.
It's over 3 seconds.
So
yeah, 3.2.
On that basis, he should close down to the back of Sepp Bogard on lap 45, which is 7 laps away. But surely Sepp Bogart's going to have to pit before that, isn't he? Because he's on 20-lap-old softs. Yeah,
he will. Well, Windass has done the undercut on him. Only thing is, by the end of the race, Windass will be leading. But his tyres are going to have done, 23 laps, 24 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
so
wondering
it
if
could be,
he's not
quite
looking to try and get a
tense
fast
end.
stint in there and maybe go onto a quick ultra soft run. Because if he gets
He
on
could
those
do.
ultra softs, let's remember Seb Bogart is likely to be on a set of softs. He might go, a set of super softs. He might go for the softs. So super
Yep.
softs is the choice we think he'll go for. That being said, if on the closing laps Window can get on those ultra softs, he could be 5 laps to go and 5-6 second gap. He'd be able to close that down, surely.
Yeah, he would do. Yeah, he would do. It's an option. Yeah, it's not it's not predetermined just yet.
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I mean, Erskine, he's on 22 lap old super softs. He's really sticking with those super softs. I mean, they are warm, but it is quite even. It's quite even on that front left tyre. There's no real degradation in any particular area. It's fairly even.
Yeah, I mean, he's managed to tie as well, so we'll have to wait and see what happens in this last phase. Those last laps, by the way, they were only 2 seconds different. Sorry, there was a 2 second gain rather than a 3, but still significant.
Still significant indeed. And
1.5 that lap.
Erskine here, if he pits, he's going to probably come out in P5. Sorry, P6. I would suspect maybe P5. That's going to be quite important. And he's going out again, so he's staying out on those super softs. He's got 27 laps. Sorry, not 27. What am I saying? 17 laps remaining. He could quite easily pit and go on to another set of super softs by the looks of it. And I think he doesn't need to be pushing it that much on these, surely.
No, I think perhaps he's trying to reach ultra soft territory. I think he wants to do two more laps on these. Then he can push the ultras to the end.
Well, that would be very interesting indeed, because it's going to definitely, because at this moment in time, those drivers, there's Seb Bogart ahead of him who's going to have to pit, but obviously he'll pit as well, so that will negate that. This could be, I don't know whether he needs to do that, to be honest with you. I don't know if he comes in now and just goes on to a set of super softs. I think that would serve him better, but time will
that's
tell.
a safe option. It's a safe option. I think. Well, I was about to say, is he looking at P2? But I mean, he's 25 seconds down the road from him and still has to pit. So you have to say that's completely off the cards. All he needs to do is defend against Hartman. Although, will Hartman have to pit again? Yes, I think is the answer to that, because he's done 14 and he's got 16 to go, so he's not going to do 30 on the supers. Maybe Erskine isn't aware of that.
He maybe isn't, and he knows that Hartman's behind him, but he is on a fresher set of softs, but they're not enough, I believe, and you believe, to take him to the end of this race. So maybe, I think he's in pretty safe podium position at this moment, Erskine. I just think he doesn't need to be pushing these super softs for as long as he is, because Hartman he's starting to close down on him.
Yeah, I mean, time difference is he's gaining 1.2 a lap on the last lap.
Well, Hartman is certainly going to be looking to make this move on track. That's what he needs to do in order to, I suppose, get the edge on Erskine. But Erskine equally, as I say, it's going to be interesting. I think you're right. I think he is pushing for an ultra soft stint. I'm just thinking he doesn't need to push for that ultra soft stint. But we will see as time will undoubtedly tell us what he's going to do. Nicky Visser, he's still in there. I mean, he's in P5. He's on 6 lap old super softs. He's got 16 laps. Sorry, not 16 laps, 15 laps remaining. Can he do 21 laps on those super softs? I think the answer to that is yes, he can, can't he?
Yeah, he'll be alright. Which means he may take P4 away from Hartman.
Yeah. He's certainly looking
will be an
solid for
achievement.
P4.
16th.
That's for sure.
16th. Yeah, it started 16th as well.
But equally, I think he could be looking. I think he's actually looking strong for P3 because Erskine is 28 seconds off. Let's remember Window at this moment in time, and Window's 12 seconds off Bogart. So I actually think that Visser's looking for a podium. He could well push Erskine off and get that third place. And Hartman picks up a 3-second time penalty. Oh, John Donkel has retired from the session. So he has, there he is. Turn 11. No, it's not turn 11. It's turn 19. John Donkel lost it on turn 19 and gone into the wall. So rather unfortunate there. Let's see.
Wasn't a race, was it? Hartman's away behind the he moved on track.
Sorry, I was just inviting John Donkel in there, so we might get John Donkel come in for a quick comment. So, sorry, Hartman is indeed right on the tails of Erskine at this moment in time, and he's going to be looking to try and make that move on track. And Ershine's still staying out on those super softs, and I don't think he's doing himself any favours at all there. I think Hartman's going to make that move into this turn 1 actually. So Erskine taking his preferred line, and Hartman right in close up behind him there. And we have indeed been joined by John Donkel. And John, great shame to see you go out, but this really wasn't your race this evening in any way, shape or form, was it?
No, definitely not. I had very big trouble starting with the qualification. I couldn't heat up my tires well. Then the race started. First corner I was caught in a great accident. So I lost my front wing, had to come in right early. And from there on, I always had much trouble with keeping my temperatures on my tires well.
Yeah. John, what happened in Q3? I don't think you set a time.
No, that's correct. I had only one set of tires left, so I only wanted to do one quick lap, but I spun out at the penultimate corner, so couldn't set a good time.
Yeah, unlucky.
Yeah, definitely unlucky. And you've been doing so well in the recent races, but clearly you know, this Austin track, Circuit of the Americas, is not a favourite of yours, John.
No, definitely not. Well, I have to be honest, last season I was coming up 4th, I think. And in season 3 I was coming up 3rd, so I had some good results in the past, but this year it's definitely not my cup of tea.
Well said there, John. And it's certainly been a great race, and we're watching. I mean, strategy as always, major player here. Ershine's just come in, and he has gone on to those ultra softs, Adrian.
Yeah, we said he would.
He's got 13 laps remaining. He's gone on to those ultra softs. He is in P5. He's 5 seconds down the road to Nicky Visser, so this could be interesting. He's certainly going to challenge Nicky Visser. Nicky Visser now 15 seconds off the back of Damie Hartman after that pit, but Hartman, he's not going to be able to go to the end, surely. I mean, you know.
No, he won't.
He's got 13 laps remaining.
He has to come in one more time.
He's going to have to come in.
Yeah, Visser's got
that P3. But it's going to be a fight, I think, for that podium P3 place between Guido Erskine and Nicky Visser, isn't it?
Yeah, but Guido has to close down the gap really fast, or else he doesn't have his how do you say it? Advantage of his tires.
Yeah. No, that's a fair shout actually, John. I mean, he is closing him in down, and I'm sure that Adrian will be able to tell us at what rate he's closing him down in the next lap or two. But he is closing down on Visser, and he has to make that move on track and he has to do it really within the next 5 or 6 laps to make it worthwhile, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what sort of times he's getting on his first couple of hot laps with the fresh tyres.
Yeah.
I'll let you know shortly. Oh, there we go. He's just done. Where is he? Ershran, P5.
Damien just
not that
pitted
lap.
and has come
That's
out
the
on the ultra
153.
softs.
Oh, look at this! Look at this!
Right in front of
Hartmann
Guido.
gets out
Oh.
just ahead of Erskine. So Hartmann now
That's a
on a
good
fresh
call.
set of
Guido hits
ultra
podium.
softs.
Yep.
Is right, just gets his nose out in front of Guido Erskine, and that is not what Guido Erskine wanted at all.
This is going to be laughing now, now that these two are battling behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. And Erskine trying to close down. He's going to try and make the move before they hit the DRS in turn 11. Lovely overtake there.
Oh,
from
contact.
Oh, my goodness!
No.
And he gets
Hartmann
clipped.
tagged him.
He got clipped by Hartmann. Oh, dearie me. Definitely
The
got
Breeze has
clipped.
taken P5.
Oh, my goodness me. And anything can happen, and it certainly does, because now Basta Breen has been let through to 5th place, and he's going to be looking to try and close down to Damien Hartmann, but he can't do it. He's on 11 lap-old super softs. This has just ruined Guido Erschine's race there.
Yeah,
He has
it's
front
a
wing
lot.
damage, I think.
Yeah, he does, because I mean, he was
He
making,
should have.
he did that turn 11 perfectly. Absolute superb turn there. And I've got to say, Damien Hartmann, well, he just came out, he just cut in front of him and basically clipped him. And there was definitely, Guido Erskine was definitely going to make the move on him. There's no two ways about it. And I'm sure the stewards will be looking at that at the end of this race.
It was quite strange, wasn't it, Eddie? Because the incident happened after the corner was done, so they've made it out the exit, and then there was slight contact on the rear tyre of Guido.
Well, it's actually, yeah, Guido making. Well, I think what happened was Hartmann came across him, and Guido just clipped the back of his car, and that's what spun him out. So, yeah, great shame there, but that has now ruined the podium chances for that Renault driver. Basta Breen, equally, I don't think he's going to be able to get on the podium. But Damien Hartmann now has an opportunity to get a podium finish. He's put himself in the place that Guido Erskine was in, and he's going to have to challenge Nicky Visser pretty quickly as well. But this is going to be interesting to see how this pans out now for this P3. There is still that fight for the 3rd place on the podium, but it's now between Damien Hartmann and Nicky Visser.
Yeah, keep an eye on the battle for P1 as well. There's only 5.2 between the two drivers now, and Bogard is catching Window at a rate of 0.6 a lap, and there are 10 laps remaining.
Now, this is the question now. We know that those super softs will go deeper into the race, but they're not going to be feeling great. And when it comes to the end of this race, Ruud Window will be on 22-lap-old super softs, and Seb Bogart will be on 13-lap-old super softs, which some might say is probably when they are at their peak. So this is going to be
catching Basta Breen quite quick.
Yeah, well, he is closing him down now. Certainly.
Yeah, he's just done a lap 1.5 seconds faster than him. Actually, it's at his fastest lap of the race at 35.7.
So the Renault driver there, Guido Erskine, has got the bit between his teeth, and he's not going to let it go. He's looking to close down on that Ferrari. He's 7/10 off him at the back of him at the moment as they're coming down to turn 12. There are 9 laps remaining, and yeah, this is this is damage recovery really for the Renault driver, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how many times have we seen this battle in this race?
Yeah,
De Bruyne versus Ershon.
Yeah, it's been
But
pretty
yeah,
constant. But
Yeah, he's not giving up
needs
though,
to
is
get.
he?
He needs
You
those
know?
points. He needs to get ahead of that Ferrari. Just for just for the points, really. He's not going to get the honour, unfortunately, of getting on that podium unless something drastic happens ahead of them. So really, it's the points now, and he's got to get ahead of that Ferrari.
Yeah, I think he will.
I don't know. He should do. He's on the ultra soft, so he should be able to get past him. He needs to stick with him now through these S's in sector 1 and look to make the move as they're coming into sector 2.
What he's got to do, Eddie,
approaching
is
sector 3.
what he's got to do is basically give De Vries a taste of his own medicine and just save up the ERS for 3 or 4 laps, then use it all down that DRS straight, and he should have him.
I mean, they are at the moment pretty equal, although that said, I think R18 has more ERS at this moment in time. He doesn't need to use it as yet, although he is, I think, and he doesn't need to.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's cranked it up.
He's using it in a major way there.
We saw this in Japan, didn't we? Where he'd overuse his ERS. He'd be a bit too impatient and try to make the overtakes of each lap. And by doing that, he's just wasting the energy.
It's just not giving it time to replenish, is it? That's the problem. He needs to give it a good couple of 3 laps to get that ERS up to full, and then you can deploy it over the next 2 or 3 laps, not try and apply it, piecemeal during just 1 lap.
Yeah. By the way, only 3 seconds now between Bogard and Window. 8 laps to go.
Bogart is definitely closing down, and R18 is looking to try and get past this Ferrari. Can he do it now? No. Bastabreen's solid through there. He's got to watch it on the back of this now, because he doesn't want to get too close to lose the downforce, but he doesn't want to stay back off too much either, so he's got to keep a reasonable distance there. Now, this is when he needs to open it up, because he needs to get as close as he possibly can to this Ferrari into that turn 11. And he's just not got enough there at this moment in time. And both drivers deploying their ERS in a major way here. They're both really using it up. They are really battling, these two, aren't they?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
think Guido
John.
is starting to lose his advantage.
Yeah, I think he is. But they are battling. I mean, this is going to be, I think this is going to be through to the end of the race. We've got 7 laps remaining. And this is F1 tonight. The only league I know that does 100% races every week here on a Thursday night from 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. Come and watch these gladiators in esports fight the brave fight. And I can guarantee you there is always going to be controversy. There is always going to be jaw-dropping driving and incident. So certainly worth watching. And we are at this moment in time watching a fight here between the Renault of Guido R18 and the Ferrari of Bastabreen for 5th place. And let's quickly run through our runners and riders. And Seb Bogart picking up a 3-second time penalty. This could be critical. This could be critical. But remaining drivers, well, we've had John Donkel, who is online at the moment, Marcel France for Toro Rosso, Rob Mulder for Williams, have all DNF'd. Mark Stappers for McLaren is in P13, P12 for McLaren, Kevin Van Delft, and he's going to be happy with that, I'm sure. Miguel Torney, John's teammate in Force India, he's currently P11. Marcel Dronig in the Renault, he's P10. Marco Pullen in the Sauber is P9. And P8 is Boy Williamson. I'm sure those guys aren't going to be too happy with those positions. And certainly Boy, he's did so well, but he's down in 8th place. Martin Parder-Cooper, good solid race as always from the Red Bull driver. He's in P7. Guido Airshine, he's currently in P6, although he is bravely trying to close down on Basta Breen in P5.
Yeah, if he thinks ahead, he might be using the McLaren. He uses the McLaren to get past.
Yeah, well, the McLaren they're
At the
catching
same
up to
time,
at
he
this
can
moment
pass.
in time.
Yeah.
So that's who we are referring to, and John's referring to. He's got that McLaren ahead, so that's going to slow the Breen down and might give him the opportunity maybe on that exit of 11, because that's pretty much where the Breen's going to meet him. So this is going to be interesting.
Bogard within DRS range now.
Yeah, Bogard is within 6/10, and De Breen makes the move, and well, nice and easy there. The McLaren driver just pulls aside for them, so that fight still goes on. Damie Hartman for Haas, he's in P4. He's 7 seconds off the back of Nicky Visser, and he needs to close that gap down, but he's just not been able to, has he, on those Ultrasofts? That's amazing, really, when you think about it, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that possibly that incident with Guido probably shook him a bit.
May well have done, but he should have been able to close down the gap. If anything, that gap's actually got bigger to
it has,
Nicky
hasn't
Visser.
it, actually? Yeah.
So that's somewhat
by the way,
contrary.
Window defending. I think Window might lose the lead here.
Yeah, Window is losing the lead now in turn 12. Yeah. I mean,
Good move
Bogart
by
did
Bogart
go
on the
deep.
outside.
He went outside and he went deep, but he made it stick. And you can see, look at the pace of Bogart. He's already starting to pull away from Window. And you can see the difference on those tyres. He's on 17-lap-old super softs. Now, this is the thing. I think now it's too late. He can't pit and come out on Ultrasofts and hope to catch him up. It's too late.
Yeah, that's too late. Its time here is taking about 21 seconds, 22.
Yeah.
So he'll never be able to close down that gap again.
No, I think if he'd done it a little bit earlier, he might have been able to have done it. But Seb Bogart, again, strategically perfect, knows what he's doing here. And he's now just going to start pulling away from Ruud Window. But a great result, certainly, and a great drive from Ruud Window. Nicky Visser is not going to be able to close him down in the 4 laps remaining. Guido is side by side, and he makes the move. Guido makes the move on the DRS between 11 and 12, easily takes the turn 12. He has got ahead now of Basta Breen. Now he needs to stay ahead of him, which he should be able to do. He should be able to actually start to pull away from him, if anything. So that secures Guido Airshine for that P5 position. Damie Hartman looking solid at this moment in time for P4, and Nicky Visser looking solid for a podium finish. And let's not forget, I mean, you were shouting him for potential win. I mean, podium, as far as I'm concerned, from where he started, is equal, because Nicky Visser started right at the back of the pack. He started in P16.
Excellent drive from him. But he spun as well, don't forget, in this race. And he's still P3. Really great performance from him.
Absolutely superb performance, and let's just remind ourselves of that position changes. Seb Bogart, obviously he was in second, moved up 1. Ruud Window was third, moved up to second. Nicky Visser 13 places from P16. Damie Hartman up 2 from 6. Guido Airshine remains where he was on the grid. Basta Breen, though, drops down 5. He's had a horrible race, and as you said earlier, he's done everything right from a strategy point of view. He's just got bad luck, basically, but he's done well. He's up there in P6. It's not to be sniffed at, really, is it, considering other lesser drivers would have just given up the ghost and that would have been it.
No, you're absolutely right again. And he took pole position, didn't he? I'm sure that he would have loved to have won the Constructors' Championship with a 1-2 for Ferrari. They're still going to do it, of course, but it's not quite the same. 1-6.
No, it doesn't sound right. But he's still trying to battle there with Guido Airshine. Martin Parder-Cooper in P7, and as I say, always from him, I hate to say it, but for the sake of repeating myself, but a solid race. He is a solid driver. He's consistent. and gaining experience all the time, and obviously an experienced driver within the F1 league, but he really does hold his own. He's a good solid drive there for him.
Yeah, he's done well. I hope he's happy with that performance, because I think I would be.
Yeah, I think he certainly should be. Boy Williamson, obviously in the Haas, not where he wanted to be. He went from second row, down to P8, and he's not going to be happy with that, I should think, at all, and not really worked out for him. Equally, Marco Pullen started in 7th, down to 9. Not a great drive, not a great race from Marco. I'm sure he expected more as well. So those two drivers there, I think, bit disappointing for them, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it has been. I don't actually think that sort of position change for Boy Williamson really tells the story of his race.
No, it doesn't.
If you remember, turn 1, he was involved in that big collision, as John pointed out. And he pitted lap 1 as well, and it's a good recovery to come back to P8, to be fair, for him, but it's probably not where he expected to end up this race.
No, definitely not. So Boy Williamson P8, P9 Marco Pullen, Marcel Dronig P10 as he just sticks up a 3-second time penalty. Don't know where he went off track there, but still, he's down in P10. Miguel Torni in the Force India. Solid drive from him. He's normally towards sort of the back of the field, but he always looks to finish a race. So again, he's just out of the points, which is a bit frustrating for him. He was in the points last week, so frustrating, I think, for Miguel that he's not in the points this week. And then we have Kevin Van Delft in the McLaren in P12, and Mark Stappers. And Mark is he looks ill. His car is not. Has he run out of fuel?
No, Mark is having really big problems keeping his car on track. But he's driving with all his assist off, and this is really hard to manage it well.
He's just having a difficult time, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
As far as
and I have to say to his teammate Kevin Van Delft, he's driving for his 6th race, I think, and he never finished the race, so let's root for him.
Yeah, no, it's a good achievement. I was about to say, just just for Miguel Torni and Van Delft, I've got a lot of respect for drivers that do finish races, even though they are, they've got sort of no chance of getting points at that point in time.
Yeah.
No, fair play to them for sticking out, especially in a 100% race as well. Don't forget.
Yeah, definitely, and I definitely commend these guys. These guys will stick at it. To them, it's about not just the race or them. It's also about the league, and there is a great sense of I'm not going to get the points, but I'm still going to finish this race. And I don't think I've ever seen a situation where a driver has just quit because he doesn't feel he's going to get the position he wants. So definitely a big shout out to the whole
that is
F1
definitely
league.
something you have to get rid of immediately if that happens. For sure, 100% race is a very long time to commit and keep your full focus on all the time as we're heading to our last lap.
Yeah, so the drivers now, Seb Bogart starting his last lap. Ruud Window still 1.4
He's only
off him.
Yeah.
Now this is going to be interesting. Is Ruud, and this is going to be very interesting.
Boy,
actually,
is very close up to
because
Martin.
they are very, very close, and they
Martin
are also very close on the ERS. There is not an awful lot between them on the ERS either, and I think Ruud is going to go all out to try and take Seb Bogart, even though he's on a much more worn, worse
Martin has
set
to keep
of tyres.
off Boy.
Pardicu defending against Boy Williamson. I don't know whether he's going to hold on.
I don't think so.
Boy Williamson does indeed make
Last
the
lap
move
of the
into
race.
turn 12.
That's a last lap overtake.
So
Good stuff.
I don't know if Martin's going to try and see if he can come back to him on that. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Nicky Visser, he's in 3rd place. Seb Bogart now coming round.
After 2 races not being able to drive and coming back this way is just amazing.
It is. He's coming round turn 15 now. on the final Sector 3, round 16, 17. Hayden Hill dropping down now to turn 19, the penultimate turn. Round turn 20 now, onto the start-finish straight, and Seb Bogart
well done.
takes the win. Ruud Window for Williams is second. Nicky Visser coming round now, turn 11. He's a quarter of a lap behind these front two runners, but he will be more than happy, I'm sure, with
definitely
picking up these points here this evening
very
for
solid drive.
that third place, because I have to say that was an absolutely phenomenal drive from him. I mean, it really was very, very impressive indeed. And he did it, majority of it on that first lap, 10 places in lap 1. So,
10 places in one corner.
Yeah, in one corner, basically, yeah, it was. So 15 points will be going to Nicky Visser.
Marco Pullen picking up 9.
Round.
Marcel Groning picking up 10.
Damie Hartman for Haas comes round the final corner now, takes 4th place. Guido Ershine, what a great shame. He was looking so good there for that podium, and it would have been interesting to see the fight between him and Nicky Visser. He takes 5th place.
Ferrari.
Bas de Breen in the Ferrari takes 6. Boy Williamson in the Haas takes 8th. I think he had some points there. So we'll run through.
So I want to say from here on to Ferrari, we want to congratulate them on the Season 4 championship. Well done. Last 3 races you still have to remain, but they already have the championship in hand.
Yeah, indeed. Ferrari seal the Constructors' Championship here at Austin, Texas. And there we have our first place winner, Seb Bogart. He's been out for 2 races. He was heading the championship. Guess what? He still is. And he's picked up 25 points. So that now puts him on 243 points. Second place there was the Williams driver of Ruud Window. Third, Nicky Visser from Sauber. Absolutely fantastic race from the Sauber driver there. Damie Hartman for Haas takes 4th. Guido Ershine for Renault takes 5th. 6, Martin Parder-Cooper for Red Bull. Bas de Breen takes 7th. 8th is Boy Williamson. 9 is Marco Pullen in the Sauber. 10 is Marcel Dronig in the Renault, and he picks up 1 point. Miguel Torney in the Force India finishes P11. Kevin Van Delft, great result for Kevin. Big shout out to him. First season, first race completion. Well done, sir, for McLaren. Mark Strappers, his teammate, finishes in 13th place. John Donkel, who we have here, unfortunately DNF. Marcel France, Toro Rosso DNF. And Rob Mulder for Williams DNF. Well, gentlemen, that is it. That is the race done and dusted. So what did you think of that one, Adrian?
Again, another thoroughly exciting race. Even though these are 100%, they never feel like 100% races to me. It seems to be all over in kind of a flash. It's all a bit too quick. Loads of action all the way through. That was really, really good. And a pleasure to commentate as well. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic race indeed. Well, we've only got just a very few races remaining now, and next week we will be in Mexico, I believe. Is that right? Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Mexico.
Yeah. Mexico. So we will be at Mexico next week for race 19, followed by Brazil, and then the final race of Abu Dhabi. Join us again next week. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, and we look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thank you very much from myself, Adrian, and from John. Say good night, gentlemen.
Good night, gentlemen.
Thank you.